Some people advocate for cable lateral raises because they believe the dumbbell lateral raises is less challenging at the bottom. But I want to challenge that.
So if you see a lot of people doing cable lateral raises instead of dumbbell lateral raises, it's because cable lateral raises are better. Here's why. When you do dumbbell lateral raises, from here to about here, there's no tension on my shoulder. When you do it on cables, there's tension the entire time. And then you're gonna get more stimulus out of the stretch. So tension the entire time. And then definitely make sure when you try this, emphasize the stretch portion of it.
In my opinion, cable lateral raise is not better than dumbbell lateral raise. The issue is your dumbbell lateral raise technique. I am not saying that dumbbell lateral raise is better than cable lateral raise, but most people don't know how to connect with their delts when they do dumbbell lateral raises. Hello folks, CJ here. Welcome to the channel. The dumbbell lateral raises could be challenging at the bottom depending on how you do it. My point is that when it comes to muscle movement, adaptation is important. So with lateral raises, you don't just move from here to here. The muscle has to go through a phase. If you are moving with the muscle, you find out that you are actually at a peak force once you break inertia. It's supposed to be challenging at every point as you move up. As long as you're only moving that weight with the primary muscle. If the mid delt is the primary mover of lateral raises from here, then it will be challenging at every point from here. The primary argument against dumbbell lateral raise is the absence of tension at the bottom phase. You don't feel tension from here to here because the delt is not responsible for this movement. The movement from here to here is done by your supraspinatus, not your delt. If you want to do dumbbell lateral raises properly, first, you have to move your hand from here to here. Now your delt is engaged. That is the starting point. Then from here, you use your delt to move the weight. There's tension the whole way. The tension keeps increasing. You do not need to go from here all the way to the top, because if you do that, your trap is going to take over. I know people dismiss the significance of that, but it is actually very, very important that you recognize that. A lot of people, when they do, I see that in the gym, when they do lateral raises, they move the weight from here to here using other muscles, but the mid delt as the primary mover. If you make the mid delt the primary mover, then you will realize that dumbbell lateral raises can be challenging from here through here. Lateral raise is one of the exercises where you don't want to jump to the heavier weight right away. You would say, CJ, this is Mike Israel type shit.
Thank you, Greg.
Yeah. Sorry, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying you have to use a baby weight. No. I'm only saying don't force the weight. People use heavier weight because they believe they can feel the muscle working. Because that's when you see people just doing all kinds of bird flapping in the gym. Oh yeah, I'm not that guy. I'm not gonna do lateral raises with baby weight, and then they start using every other muscle in this world except the delts. No, that's not the point. The point is, don't ego lift. Use the appropriate weight. You can actually hit failure even with lower weight. Not to my easier talk kind of heavy weight, but I mean, hit failure with lower weight. Before I continue, please do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button to help us grow the channel. Also hit the like button to help YouTube distribute this video to more people. Okay, so now let's talk about lateral raise technique. Number one, the weight is not important. The weight is just resistance. And then the lighter the weight, the more difficult it is to generate resistance. If you go heavy, the weight immediately gives you the resistance. And it makes it difficult for you to connect with the muscle. But with lighter weight or even with just body weight, it's much more difficult to create resistance. And then that forces you to connect with your muscle. The next thing you want to do is you just loosely hold it, just almost hanging here. Just let the weight hang in your hand. What that does, that creates a resistance in your delt, because here the weight is trying to drag your hand down, and then your shoulder, in this case your delt, will then come in to resist the weight from pulling your hands off your shoulder joint. That's number one. The number two is, I don't know what number is. Don't quote me on these numbers. I've lost track of what I want to do. Anyway, the next step is you go from here, boom. That's it right there. I could already feel the tension. This is the beginning of your lateral raise. I take my breath here, and then I start moving. This is the end of my rep. This is where I feel the very first resistance. If I want to go beyond this point, then I'm going to be moving the weight with my trap. Then I come back to the starting point. I don't want to come here, because if I come here, then I'm going to have to use the supraspinatus to come here for every rep. So for me, once I get to this point, this becomes the end of my rep. So from here, the rep 1, this is it. Rep 2, 3. That's your dumbbell lateral raise right there. And you have tension in your delt the whole time. As long as you're not trying to force the weight to go up so high very early in your set. Just let your delt adapt to the movement. The important thing to benefit from using dumbbell is making the mid delt, or your delts in general, the primary mover of the exercise. And to accomplish that, there has to be progressive overload. Find a way that would allow you to generate initial resistance in the muscle and warm up to that. Then once you warm up to that, then you move the weight up until you get to the point where that you feel you're going to get sufficient resistance to challenge your delt during your exercise. So, having said that, go ahead, give that a try. Give me your feedback in the comments. Tell me if it works for you. If it doesn't work for you, it's okay. At the same time, please like and subscribe and help us to get to 500 subscribers. So I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.